This is our Yamaha Delux Waverunner package. This machine has a Yamaha TR1 1000cc motor. It accommodates 3 riders comfortably, and it has Yamaha Ride System, which is new to the industry. It has forward, neutral, reverse, and a brake feature, which is unique to Yamaha. The Deluxe model is our most stable model, and the Ride System makes it very easy to dock. So just because it's our highest end model does not mean it's not the easiest to use. In fact, it is the easiest one to use. We're going to go through the operational controls of the Deluxe Waverunner package. The first thing you want to do is put on your wrist lanyard, which is your kill switch. This basically shuts the machine off if you fall off the machine when you're going forward, and allows you to swim back to the machine. So to plug this in, you simply secure it underneath the kill switch button. Okay, to start the machine, there's a green button that's labeled Start on your left-hand side. To stop the machine, there's a red button labeled Stop, also on your left-hand side. Pulling the kill switch also works to stop the machine. When you start this machine, it starts in neutral. The dash will actually have an N on it, which indicates neutral. In neutral, you have no momentum moving forward or backward, but you still do have steering from side to side. It's a good place to start, so you're not flying off once you actually start the machine. To put it into forward, the forward throttle is always on your right-hand side. So clicking the forward throttle once will actually engage the machine into forward. Your dash will say F on it now, and it will start to idle at about 2 to 3 kilometers per hour. To go faster and forward, you simply squeeze the forward throttle tighter. Okay? To put it back into neutral, you click the left-hand throttle once. That will change your dash back to neutral. You'll feel it really start to lose momentum and slow itself down. If you're still approaching something too quickly, then you use the reverse feature. And by doing that, you just squeeze the left-hand throttle. You'll actually start to feel the machine move into reverse. What's unique about these Yamahas is you can actually be going at about 20 or 30 miles per hour or 50 kilometers per hour, and you can fully squeeze the left-hand throttle, and that will work as a brake. Not many other models have this feature. It slows you down much faster when you're out in the open water. Okay, the dash shows you a few things. You have your fuel bars on your right-hand side. There's 8 bars, and they go down 2 at a time. Once you get to 2 bars, you should definitely be going back to get fuel because you're below a quarter tank. It also has your speed, your RPM, and the gear that you're in. If we were to start this right now, you would actually be in neutral. The fuel cap on the Deluxe model is underneath the hatch on the left-hand side. The safety equipment for the Deluxe Waverunner can be found under the front hatch. Each of our Waverunners comes with a paddle, a safety kit which contains rope, whistle, flashlight, and bailer, and a fire extinguisher which is fixed in the front of the hatch. We always provide you with the appropriate number of fitted life jackets for your day on the water. I'm going to show you how to depart from the dock now. You see that I have the ropes taken off of the machine and the fenders are stored on the dock. Okay? We now want to push ourselves away from the dock before we start. We have our kill switch on, we're wearing our life jacket. You hold the green button to start the machine. Again, we're in neutral, so to put it forward, we click the right-hand throttle once. Now idling forward. Neutral, click the left hand once, and reverse, squeeze the left hand. Okay, I'm going to do a docking demonstration for the Deluxe Waverunner now. We're going to come in straight to the dock, and then when we're about 20 feet away, we're going to turn on a 45-degree angle and put the machine into neutral. Okay. So I'm in forward idle right now. We're going to turn on the 45-degree angle and click the machine into neutral using our left hand. As we approach the dock even closer, we're going to use reverse by squeezing the left-hand throttle and turning the machine sideways. Okay, then you simply grab the dock and bolt. Okay, each of our Waverunners come with 2 fenders and a mooring line. These are to be used when you're docking and walking away from the machine for a while. They're both kept in the front storage hatch, which can be just lifted this way. Okay. One fender or bumper goes at the front. This is the orientation of the bumper. It goes around the bumper line, up around the gunnel of the machine, and then you have a rope which is to be tied on for safety so it doesn't wiggle loose and float away. Similarly, you have one for the back that goes on the same way. You space them out about 1 meter apart. At the back, there's a handle that you can tie to. Once the fenders are in place, you take the rope and you attach the PWC to the dock. The rope is 15 feet long. It has one loop at the end. We take the main section of the rope, put it through the loop to make a bigger loop, go around the handlebar, hold this tight. We then go through one ring or one cleat on the dock, and then we go back around the back handle. It is important that we pull all the slack out of this rope so just the bumpers or the fenders are touching the dock. Then we tie our knot at the back. This system is effective because it does not allow the machine to do this against the dock, which causes a lot of scratching damage on the paint. We have one of our Waverunners rolled up on its side to show you the intake grate and where the water has to flow through to power this machine. All of the machines are the same, but we're using a Delux in this example. It's also important to note that we do not want you to roll these up on their sides yourselves. We have a shallow, sandy area that's safe to do this, but in the open water it can be dangerous. So all the water for this machine has to be powered, has to flow through this intake grate. We're on Pigeon Lake right now, and Pigeon does have some weedy areas. So what can happen with Waverunners is if you drive through shallow, weedy areas, the weeds can break off and clump up over top of this intake grate. If the water's not able to freely flow through that intake grate, you significantly lose power, and the motor is actually not being cooled by the water that's supposed to be passing through there. How to identify when you have weeds is very easy. The machine loses power to the point where it will not get up and go on plane. Your max speed when you have weeds might be around 10 kilometers an hour versus 80 otherwise, so it's very noticeable. When you have weeds, it's not a big deal to fix it. It's very easy. You shut the machine off, you have the machine upright, and you reach underneath, okay? You pull them out, they'll be clumped on top and they'll be out about this far. You reach underneath, you pull out a few handfuls, and then the machine is clear. Whatever little bit of weeds that are left on there will shoot through the back of it. What's more significant is if you're towing a tube and you drive over the tube rope. The tube rope will be sucked up into the impeller in a second, and it'll suck up about 20 feet of the rope, actually disabling the machine and binding the motor. If that happens, unfortunately, you do have to be towed back to the dock. We have to put it on a trailer and cut out the rope. All of our machines are capable of towing tubes, wakeboards, and skis. If you wish to tow somebody, it's important that you use the correct tow point. There's a cleat underneath the back of the seat of each of our models. It's a steel cleat, and that's where your rope should be attached to, not the plastic handle. Okay. For towing, you must have a driver and a spotter on the machine. Also, you must have enough room for whoever's on the equipment, let's say it's a tube, to get back on the machine. What's important to note is that this means you can only tow one person at a time. Since there are 3-seaters, driver, spotter, enough room for who's on the tube to get back on the machine equals 3 people. What's also important when you're towing, as we mentioned in the section with weeds, is to not drive over the tube rope. What happens is basically it sucks into the impeller and it disables the machine. How to avoid that is to, when you're driving, you always keep the machine in forward. If someone falls off the tube or falls off the wakeboard, the driver slows down the speed, does a wide circle, keeping the rope fully extended behind the machine at all times until they intercept the person in the water with the rope. Then they either shut the machine off or just idle while the person positions themselves to go again. It's also the spotter's responsibility to ensure that the rope does not have any slack in it and does not get sucked up underneath the machine. If they notice this is happening, they're the fail-safe to pick the rope up and keep it away from the back of the impeller.